Okay. Just because you guys are, it's actually a good way to kind of learn. So, you guys want me to explain the joke? You'll understand it more later. Okay. When it comes to naming, so you remember how this is an alkane, the single lines and no other functional group, and then the double lines is an alkene. When it comes to naming them, you use the E and E ending, daing, and di is two, so daing. So you see how there's now double bonds there, and there's two of them. That's where that name comes from, daing. Anyway, let's look at the example that I gave you guys. So that was 3-ethyl. Ethyl 2-methyl pentane. All right, cool. Let's look at that. So, when it comes, oh man, that really did do a number on my hands. All right, when it comes to when it comes to drawing organic molecules. Sorry, let me backtrack. When it comes to naming and drawing organic molecules, I find it's easiest to first learn how to draw and then learn how to name. So that's why we're doing drawing first. It helps to kind of distinguish the language that we're looking at. So first thing to kind of keep in mind when you're looking at an organic molecule and you're trying to draw it is you want to look at the end of the word because that tells you the parent chain. So this here is the parent chain. The parent chain is one of two things. Generally, it's the longest chain. And if there's a functional group, it will have the functional group. Longest chain with the functional group. So the functional groups were the do now that we were doing this morning. So you want to find the longest chain with the functional group. In this example, what type of molecule was this? Alkane. So this here is an alkane, just FYI. FYI, this is an alkane. And we call it an alkane because it only has carbon and hydrogen, and there's only single bonds there. All right, so that makes it a bit easier. So pent. So the other reason why I know it's an alkane is because of this ending here. The A-N-E matches the A-N-E, alkane. All right, the other thing you need to learn is what the different numbers are referring to. So each number will be assigned a certain a name to it. We only go up to 10. So first, 1 is methane. Sorry, 1 is meth, 2 is eth, 3 is prop, 4 is bute, 5 is pent, 6 is hex, 7 is het, 8 is octane, oct. 9 is non, and then 10 is dec. Most of the naming terminology is the same as what you would do in mathematics. So like octagon, hexagon, that sort of thing. Anyway, I won't write that down because there's plenty of notes online that show that, so that's kind of not a good use of time. So the main thing to say is that when I look at this, it tells me that there's going to be 5 carbons. So I draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons down. All right. Now what I need to do is I need to decode what are those two kind of sections before it and what it is telling me. Something to keep in mind is that when you number the organic molecule, you can only number it once. So either I'm numbering it this way or I'm numbering it that way. And then I leave that for the whole naming. All right? I don't care which way you do. I tend to think left to right because that's just how I write in English. So, but it's not going to, I'll show you what I mean when I redraw it the other way around. So let's just say this is carbon 1, that's carbon 2, that's carbon 3, that's carbon 4, that's carbon 5. We good? All right. With this naming here, this is placed in alphabetical order. So that's why the eth has become before the meth. Now, the eth-il, the il ending is just saying you have a branch. And you have a branch that is 2 carbons long. This one here, again, you have a branch and it is 1 carbon long. So that's what that information tells you. The number in front here tells you where it is on the parent chain. I should actually capitalize it. Write the sentence properly. So, since this is carbon number 3, and it's ethyl, it has a 2-carbon branch. So, CH2, CH3, 1, 2. And I'll talk about how I know how many how many hydrogens are there. Are we okay with that so far? All right. It doesn't matter how you draw it. If you draw it in the other orientation, you write CH2, CH3, that's also fine. If you draw this down here and write CH2, CH3, that's also fine. What's important is that you've attached it to the right carbon. Doesn't matter so much where you place it location-wise in that sense. All right. Next one is my methyl. So 1 carbon on carbon number 2. So this is carbon number 2. Again, you could write it on the top if you want, or you can write it on the bottom if you want to help save space. It still means the same thing. Are we okay with that? All right, so I personally am just writing it at the top. And that's CH3. Are we good? Oh, here comes the rain. All right, last thing I then need to do is add the hydrogens. I'm just trying to find another color for us. I'm going to do purple. So, the thing to remember with all these carbons here and these carbons over here is that they need to have 4 things attached to it. So they need to have 4 bonds. This one here is bonded to this carbon here. And so it's going to have 1, 2, 3 hydrogens. Now we can condense this down into that format. So that's why I wrote CH3 like that. So that's just this condensed, which is also fine. So it's up to you. I find when students are first learning, they like to draw it out and show all the bonds, and that's okay, because I know that you're trying to visually understand what's going on. But I'll show you what I mean. You can condense it down as well, and that's also correct. So this one here, bond, 1 hydrogen. This one here, bond, that has 2. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It kind of starts crashing into each other. As an examiner, I personally prefer if you condense it down. And then this one here is like that. All right. If I wanted to condense this down so it's not so messy, I would write CH3, CH, CH3, CH, CH2, CH3, CH2, CH3. If I wanted to condense it down like that. That's also fine. Are you okay with that so far? All right. If you had numbered it the other way around and you were doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is still going to be on the same one because that's still carbon 3, but then this guy would go over here. And that's still the correct naming because you've numbered it that way. You just got to be mindful whenever you number it, it's the one direction that you've done so far. You can't number it twice. So you can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start attaching things on either side because that's going to be a mess. All right? Just to keep in mind, when you guys are looking at some of the questions, they might show this even as the stick model. So the stick model is basically going each endpoint of the line is a carbon. So if I was to draw this out like that, it'd be that way, that way, that way. That's 1, that's carbon 2. That's the CH3 coming off of it. Just trying to think. This is harder. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That one's here. 4, 5, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I did 6 by accident. Yes, I did. Cross it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. It's not a nice, pretty one, but I just want you. You guys are not going to draw it like that. Usually you just draw it like this. It's just, if you see questions like that, it's just, that's how it's translating across. And just basically each corner you get is another carbon. Okay? Questions, concerns, or comments? All right. I know that's a lot to kind of chew. I'm just watching our time. Okay. So we have, what is it? 5, 10, 15 minutes left. So what I will do is I'll hold off and give you guys the notes on naming, but I want you guys to do pre-learning first. So that way when I see you guys on Monday, you'll be ready for the notes. Okay? So what I would like you guys to do is the level 2 SciPad pages on branching side chains of naming alkanes and the complex branch, I don't even know what I was trying to spell here, branch chain alkanes. I want you guys to do stuff from the level 2 book because you guys haven't done level 2 chemistry before. It's actually okay for you guys not to have done it before because I find in my experience that I basically have to reteach organic chemistry anyway. So to give you guys more time to process the level 2 stuff, I decided just to put it into level 3 program and you'll be fine. Okay, cool. Just pause that.